In tutorial 20, we're going to take a look at the block coin. So if you remember, all you have to do is go into scenes, just go down to tutorial 20 block coin. It'll start us off with a scene that looks like this one. If you click on the block type, click on your block from your hierarchy, you'll bring up the options for this. Now just to double check, make sure your block state is set for the block coin. We'll have the state after is the breakable, and then we'll have the block, let's see, where is that? Here we'll have our block coin amount set to 2. So when it gets to 2, it'll switch states and it'll go to the breakable. So let's double check, make sure this works. So if I go over and I hit this one time here, now notice, just like we had before, it does instantiate the object right there. So the coin's instantiated. If he hits it 2 times, it instantiates a second coin, and then it breaks it. And then we have multiple copies right here of our coin pieces. So what we need to do, we actually have to make it so that the coin itself moves up when the player hits the block, and then also destroys, and then we could add like a particle effect as well, so that once it goes up, there'll be a little bit of an effect for the user to see that they did get the coin. Alright, so in order to do that, let's go to our prefabs, and inside the project tab and prefabs, go down until you see the prefab pickups, and there should be a prefab pickup for coin block right here, this one right there. So this will be a special case. Instead of just being able to use the standard pickup for it, we need to actually add an additional script to it. So inside of the inspector, you'll notice a block coin script. Go ahead and double click on the block coin. And when it loads up, let's go ahead and take a look at this file. Alright, so what we want to basically do again, we just want to have the, once it gets instantiated, this coin, instead of being behind the object, we want the object to just be able to move upwards and then have a particle effect for it. Alright, so let's go ahead and just write out our script for this one. So we'll say this will be our coin setup for blocks, because that'll be different than the rotating coin that we have. And we'll set our standard for this. Alright, so again, the description type for it, we'll just say this is going to be, we'll create a coin and a particle effect for the block coin once it gets bumped. Alright, and basic instructions for it. We'll just say that we're going to assign, we'll say, if we're thinking about coin, let's actually assign the coin particle to it and a audio file as well. So let's make sure we define that. So we'll say assign the coin object and add a particle and sound effect to the inspector, because that's where we're going to drop it in. Alright, so basic ones, let's set up our variables here. Some variables that we'll want is going to be a coin value. So similar to like the pickup that we did before, we need to assign a values to it. We'll start off with just an integer for 1. And for the next variable, we'll do a coin particle. So we'll have a value, and then we'll have a particle. And then let's add to this one. We'll do a along with this, we'll do a sound for it, so we'll just call this one a sound coin pickup. There we go. And we'll do our standard audio clip on it. Let's go ahead and grab 2 other variables that we're going to need. We'll do the player game object, and then we'll do a HUD game object. So very similar to our other, when we did the pickup item, we're going to do the same kind of setup for it so that we can use those to apply the same property. So like when you hit this and the coin comes up, it'll add a coin up here for us. So again, we'll do player game object, and we'll do a variable for the HUD as well. So we'll say HUD game object as well. Alright, so with both of those, let's go ahead and go into one other one. We'll do a private variable here, and this will just be a coin time. This is going to be the time for the coin to be in the air. So we need some way to say how long it's going to be in the air before it's done. So we'll say coin time, and we'll make this one just a float. And we'll go ahead and start it off by setting it to a low variable, and we'll see how it works out. Alright, so on the update, let's go ahead and actually work up all of our functions here. We're going to need a function for start. We want to make sure that we're actually initializing some of our variables. And then we'll have an update function. And then we're going to need a way to actually delete the coin or kill the coin. So we'll just call this one function killCoin. Alright, and then we need a way to actually add 2 coins. So just like the other one, we want to make sure we can add the coins to the HUD. So we'll say function add to coins. There we go. So we'll have 4 functions that we work on. The first function for the start, let's go ahead and just grab our, with these two, we'll go ahead and just initialize both of these and set those to our HUD and our player on tag checks. So let's just say HUD, game object, and this is just going to simply equal the game object, and we'll do a find with tag. So there we go, game object, and dot find with tag. And what we're going to find is the tag named HUD, since we already know that it's labeled inside of here. And something to keep in mind is that when you start doing things like this, we've got these kind of randomly scattered throughout a lot of our code. When I start checking for specifics, it does require me to make sure that I have that in the game here. So if you were starting from scratch and you dropped something in a HUD and you didn't have it actually labeled as the HUD for tag, then you would have an issue with your script connecting the things. So be sure that you kind of think through your process and just ensure that you're actually doing it the way you want to be doing it for a longer project. So for this one, player game object. We'll actually make this again just like the other one, game object.find with tag. And since this is the player, just be sure it's a capital P on there. We'll do player. Alright, so we've got both of our objects connecting to the game objects with those. Inside of our update function, before we do this one, let's go ahead and get a time base for this one. That way we can actually use it inside the update. So let's see, for our killCoin, we're going to do just like we've done before when we're going to do a wait statement. We'll do a yield and a wait for seconds. And the wait for seconds, let's go ahead and assign the coin time into it. That way if we need to adjust it, we can adjust it through the inspector, not through the code. Alright, and once it actually kills this one, let's go ahead and create the particle effect that actually comes from it. So when we assign this, it's going to wait, and then once it kills the coin, then actually once it waits for a certain amount of time, then we'll instantiate, and then we'll get rid of it. So let's go ahead and say instantiate here. And what we want to instantiate is going to be our coin particle right there. Alright, so on the instantiate, let's just say coin particle. And coin particle, we're going to be taking the position and rotation from this object. So we could either say this transform, or we could just say transform.position. And let's see. Then we'll do also transform rotation. Alright. So that'll give us all of our rotation and transform position for our object when it gets instantiated. It'll be based on that one. Alright, and then the other part, let's say we want to go ahead and destroy on this one. So we'll destroy this object. Alright, now the add 2 coins, let's go ahead and fill this one out. So in terms of being able to add to the HUD that we currently have, let's go ahead and grab our script that we want to be able to use for it. So in the add to coins function, let's make a variable. We'll just call this one a HUD connect. And the HUD connect is actually going to be equal to our HUD game object that we're actually initializing from start. For this one, we want to do a get component. And the get component is going to look for the one that was called HUD controller. Alright, so we're going to get our HUD controller script file. If you remember from this one right here, let's grab this. Inside of here, we have our Wait, let's see where we've got it here. There we go. We've got our HUD controller script. This is the one that we're actually going to be calling up into. So let's drop back down again to here. Alright. So let's go ahead and we're going to grab from here. We're going to get the HUD connect. And we're going to basically just add our coin, the current coin value that we have set for this one, to the HUD controller's HUD count for the coins. Alright, so let's go ahead and just say, we'll do HUD connect right here, and we'll get our coins. So HUD connect.coin, and we'll add it to the coin value that we're setting currently inside of here, which will do the coin value setting to 1 right there. So coin value. Alright, so now when we actually grab a coin from here, it's going to add to the current coin that we have there. Alright, and then the next thing that we want to do is similar to that, we want to set up our player connect one. So we'll say variable player connect is going to equal our player game object dot get component, and this is we're gonna grab our player properties. So player properties, and then the player connect. Let's go ahead and go for this one, player connect dot coins. This one as well. We're just gonna add it to the coin value to it. Alright. So now we have the coin value being added to both of them. That way everything stays consistent and works out. So whenever you place one of these in, it's going to work just as well as picking up a coin. Alright, now we need to actually add this into our update. So we've got two functions we can use here. In the update, let's go ahead and start off. We want to make sure that the coin itself, this one, actually plays and rotates around. So we could assign the other one, which was just a rotate script, or we could just do the update inside of here and create that one again. So we'll go ahead and just do the variable animation play like we've been calling up before, and we'll make it equal to our get component. And if you remember, we're just going to grab our animation sprite script, and for this one, again, we'll say animation play dot animation sprite. And remember the sprite that we're calling up here, this is the function call. So we'll grab that, and let's go ahead and set up the right ones for it. It was 16 is how long it is, and it is 2 rows. We're going to start at the first part, which is going to be 0, 0. It'll be 21 frames long, and we'll do it at a speed of 12 frames a second. Alright, so this is going to play the animation for this sprite. And then once we have that one in there, let's go ahead and do the movement. So again, this is going to be animating it, but we need it to move upwards. So let's go ahead and just do a transform on the object. So we'll say transform. And remember, if you're going to move an object upward, what do you use? Hopefully you're saying translate. So we're just going to say translate, meaning we're going to move it. We're going to move it not on the X left and right, but we want to move it up and down on the Y. So we're just going to move it at a time, and it's just going to be a delta time. So we'll say delta time times, and this could actually be a speed value for it as well, for how fast it could actually be moving upwards. I'm just going to set it to 5 right now. So again, if you want to set it to the inspector as a property, you can certainly do that. That way, just as an example, is that you could do it so that if the player does a standard just jump and hit, the coin jumps to a certain height, but if you were to do like a crouch and hit, that maybe it would kind of interpret as hitting it harder, and you could do a separate value for it so it would go up higher. Alright, so we'll do the height set to about 5 on this one. And then last thing we want to do, we want to call up our kill coin right here. Alright, and that's going to give us our basic setup for the update function right here. And then the last thing that we need to do, if you notice, if we do the kill coin right here, this calls up the, it does the wait, does the instantiate, but then it destroys it. And we don't really have time, if we were to put the function add to coins right after it, we wouldn't be able to because it would already be destroyed. So let's go ahead and just go to our function killCoin, and right after the instantiate, let's actually call up our function from inside of there. So we'll say add to coins. There we go. So the add to coins will actually be put into the function killCoin, and we can save this out. If we go back into the inspector over here, we'll notice that now with this one, we actually have our coin particle that we need, and we have our sound coin pickup. Alright, so let's see. Let's go ahead and go into, make sure it's selected, coin particle. We'll go to our prefabs right here, and let's find our coin particle. Should be on item, let's see, pickup. So prefab pickup particle, and we'll just drag the coin particle over to the coin particle, and then the sound for the pickup. Let's go to our audio, and we should have Mario coin, so we'll click on that one and drag it over. Alright, now again, remember, in order to make this assigned to all the other prefabs, we just need to apply it to it. And that's going to make sure that all the prefabs that are the coin block are going to be assigned with all of these, with the coin particle and the coin pickup files. So we can go ahead and delete this one. And then this time around, when we go over here, let's double check on it. If the player hits, the coin actually should bounce up. So if you notice, you get the bounce, and then the coin goes up like that. And then once it gets done, it breaks. Alright, so that gives us our basic coin functionality for the brick. And again, it's kind of a special case. It's not necessarily the exact same as the item pickup, but it's similar enough that we could use part of that for it. Alright, so there we go. We have our particle instantiating, we got the coin displaying, and we got the coin being deleted at the same time after. Alright, so we'll save this one, and then last step on this one, just be sure to go back in and comment the code for all the different parts of it. And we'll go ahead and just spend a couple of minutes here, and we'll just do some commenting. So first part, value of the coin. This one we'll just say is going to be the particle for the coin. And we'll do audio for coin. Alright, and this would be the player. We'll go ahead and just call this one our player object. We'll say holder here. And this would be HUD object holder. Alright, and then this one be the coin time. So the coin time is just going to be the time for the coin in the air. For coin in the air. Again, initialize. And we're going to connect to the HUD game object. And we'll connect to this will be the player game object. And we'll just call this our loop. Alright, so we're going to get the animation sprite JavaScript file. And then we'll play our coin sprite animation. And after we play the coin sprite, we're going to be moving it, so we'll just say move coin sprite upward. Okay. And then after that, once we start to move it upward, there we go, we'll just say destroy or delete the coin and particles. Alright. Then let's just define our the killCoin function. We'll just say it's going to be a function for deleting game objects. And let's put on inside of here, and creating particle. There we go. This one, we'll just say it's going to be a wait movement, a wait moment till the coin's in the air. So, wait a moment till the coin is in the air. And then we'll instantiate, which means we'll be creating. So we'll create a particle for the coin. There we go. And this one again, this will be our function for down below. So we'll add the player and HUD scoring. What would this? The add player and HUD score. Well, let's just say update it. And then finally, we'll just simply delete the object. Alright, last function. And add to add to coins. This one, again, this will just simply handle the two types so that it connects up. So we'll just say, let's see, function to handle HUD and player updates for coin. Alright. And this one, we'll get the HUD controller. And then the next one, double check what it was. So this one, connecting into this one, we'll just add the coin value into the HUD. So add to the coin value in the HUD. Alright. Then same thing for this one, just like we did above. We'll say get the player properties component. And then same as the other one below it. Once we get it, then we'll just add to the coin's value in the player properties. Alright, so that's going to finish us up on our coin block script. This is basically, again, just allowing us to create a coin. So once it's instantiated, it allows it to move upward, produce a particle effect, produce a sound effect, get destroyed, update the HUD, update the player. Alright, so that'll finish that one off.